WBA light welterweight or super lightweight world champion Ricky Burns will take on Julius Indongo, who is the newly crowned IBF light welterweight world champion, on April 15th at the SSE Hydro, Glasgow, Scotland. It will be a unification fight. Indongo won his IBF light welterweight or super lightweight world title in his last fight against Edward, God, how do you pronounce that name? Troyanovsky, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm butchering that surname right there. But I did see this fight. It was on the undercard of Alexander Povetkin versus Johan Duopa. And it was quite a spectacular knockout that Indongo managed to score in the first round. A big left hand. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you go watch it. It was spectacular stuff. Now, Indongo is a southpaw. The one and only time I've seen him fight was in that fight right there against Troyanovsky. All his other fights, as far as I'm aware, have been in his native country of Namibia. So he is a fighter from obscurity, really. He's 33 years old. He's 21-0 with 11 KOs. I believe his last 6 fights were all knockouts. So, actually, let me just check that. No, his last 6 fights were not knockouts. His last 3 fights were knockouts. Before that, he went the distance 3 times in a row, 12 rounds. Well, he's got 12-round experience at least, albeit in Namibia against God knows what level of fighter. So, for those of you who haven't seen Indongo, again, I recommend you go see that fight where he won the IBF title. He's a rangy southpaw. He's tall, just like Ricky Burns. Burns is about 5'10". Indongo has the look of a guy who's more lanky than Ricky Burns, though. And I know that sometimes on various websites, BoxRec and what have you, the statistics, the tail of the tape for fighters can be way off. And when you look at Ricky Burns in the ring and you look at Indongo, Indongo looks like the taller, lankier guy, but you have to see them side by side to actually be able to tell. I suspect Indongo will probably have the longer arms, even if they are around the same height. We'll see. But they're both tall, pretty tall guys for light welterweight, super lightweights. I think it's an interesting fight because Ricky Burns, although he's lost 5 fights, he's a known quantity. We know what Ricky Burns can do. We've seen him in with the likes of Terence Crawford and what have you. And by the way, that loss to Terence Crawford doesn't look so bad now, considering what Terence Crawford has done since then. So, yeah, we know what Ricky Burns can do. We don't really know what Indongo can do. We know he's got a pretty dangerous left hand because of his last fight where he won the title, but then he's only got 11 KOs, so we can't be that prolific with it. So it's intriguing in that sense. Indongo is kind of an unknown quantity. We don't really know exactly what he can do. I doubt there's too much footage of Indongo out there because of the fact that most of his fights have been in Namibia. And I know Namibia is one of the more developed countries in Africa, but still, I suspect that it will be fairly difficult to obtain too much footage of Indongo's fights, even though he has had, how many fights has he had again? Let me just check. 21 fights. He's 21-0. So if I'm wrong, if there is plenty of footage of Indongo out there, then please drop links in the comment section below. I'll have a look myself anyway on YouTube and see what I can dig up, if anything. And let me know how you think this fight is going to go, people. Again, you would, just based on who they've fought, and this is not always a foolproof method of picking who's going to win a fight, but just based on who they've fought and even who they've beat, you would have to go with Ricky Burns. But when you are dealing with an undefeated fighter in Indongo, you just don't know how good he might be. You know? Again, a very spectacular knockout he scored in his last fight to win the IBF super lightweight world title. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Who are you picking? Why are you picking them? Did you see Indongo's fight last month where he won the title? Drop it all below. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.